Hello everyone, it's James from Keeping It Anime, and today we'll be talking chapter 111 of We Never Learn. So before I start the actual chapter review, I just want to talk about the cover for this chapter, and I absolutely love it. So up on screen now, you'll see the cover that we were given for this chapter. Now since we've been following Azumi and her story, we actually have an Azumi front cover. And as you guys all know, I'm a huge fan of Azumi as a character within the We Never Learn series. So obviously this cover is going to appeal to me. What I really do like about this cover though is actually the colour schemes. So I've actually been looking at it for a little bit, and with Koinami Azumi's colour scheme, just having the orange and black trousers with the hair colour probably wouldn't go, but it's the fact that the mangaka has added the jacket, and the jacket's kind of similar colour to the hair. It breaks it up all really nicely. I took art as GCSE, but I'm not claiming to be an artist at all. But, you know, I just find the colours balance out quite nicely and they match very well. I also love the fact that it looks like in this front cover that Yuiga and Azumi are going to the Dr. Fish's amusement park. And we all know from previous chapters that Azumi is a huge fan of Dr. Fish. There is one chapter, I forget which one it was, but she gave a little kid her teddy of Dr. Fish after she so desperately wanted to win it. But you know, she being as kind as she is, gave it to the kid because that kid lost hers. Or it could have been a balloon. It was something like that. Honestly speaking, I would have loved it if this chapter was based on those two going to this amusement park, and I hope in the future we do get that. But let's actually talk about the real chapter, shall we? Right, so then, this chapter, chapter 111 of We Never Learn, is a bit of a horror slash comedy chapter, if I'm honest with you. So, Miss Kirisu, we're actually following her in this chapter. It doesn't seem like it's going to be a mini arc for Miss Kirisu again, which is good because we've just had one, but it seems like a nice little bit of comedy, just to ease us out of the Koinami arc into the new one. So kind of like a transitional chapter. So we have Miss Kirisu looking for a new apartment. And right off the bat, Yuiga's suspicious about this new apartment because it's in the best location possible. It's a 4-minute walk away from the train station that they need. It's a 3-bedroom, has living, dining, kitchen areas, and is on the top floor of an apartment on the corner. Now you would think this costs like 130,000, whatever it is they have it currency in this manga. However, it's yen. So however, it's only 20,000 yen. So Yuiga, being kind and suspicious about the whole thing, he offers to go with her. And it turns out that this apartment is very normal at first. However, they start looking at the different places. Miss Kirisu's like, oh, this apartment's great, and then looks behind a picture frame and says, look, this is what you want to look out for in case someone has any holes or dents in the walls. But it turns out it's loads of like letters and inscriptions, something you find in a horror film. Then they go into the bathroom and the mirror's all covered in dirt and in handprints. Again, something from a horror film. So the mangaka must have been reading or watching some sort of horror before he thought of this chapter, because it had that sort of vibe to it. It wasn't scary to read, but you could see the direction in where it wanted to go. Now, we get a bit of a transition from this, because yes, they're still looking around, and Miss Kirisu's in the bathroom, and she's lying in the bath thinking that the bath is big enough for 2 people. And this is kind of a bit of a sketchy kind of area, because we all know that Yuiga is building up his, I don't really want to say harem as such, but he's essentially building up the amount of female characters in this manga that like him. And it looks like they're trying to hint at Miss Kirisu coming around to that kind of idea, which I'm not really that keen on, because obviously it is the whole teacher-student relationship, and even she believes, Miss Kirisu believes that it's wrong and they couldn't do it, but she can't stop herself from having these weird hallucinations of her and Yuiga in the bathtub. I don't know, it was a bit dodgy, a bit sketchy, but I guess they put it in there for comedic value and for like a little bit of a character kind of, not really development as such, but you know what I mean. Adding to Miss Kirisu's character slightly. I hope they don't go down this route with her character. I like the whole clumsiness and miscommunication comedy these two characters have in this chapter, and in all the chapters they're based around together. I just don't want it going towards the romantic side for Kirisu and Yuiga. I think that'll be pushing it a bit too far. However, while Yuiga's looking around the apartment, he sees a girl with a doll hiding underneath the sink. And what is it with Kirisu and what is it with Yuiga and labels? Like, every time he does something wrong, the females in this manga series love sticking labels on his back. Rizu, Fumino, now Miss Kirisu's doing it. But yes, he sees a little girl and he's freaked out. He's always freaked out, but even before this. And he runs and jumps on Miss Kirisu while she's still lying in the bath that's got no water in. She's still got her clothes on, so nothing inappropriate happens really. But it turns out that this little girl was just from next door, and she just wants someone to play with. Okay, fine. And then you get the big reveal at the end, where the girl was actually dead all along. She's a ghost. So they're all believing that there's no such thing as ghosts, and she's ready to buy the apartment because she loves it so much. And then the manager or the salesperson goes, little girl? There was a little girl 15 years ago, but she died of an illness. And Miss Kirisu's like, yeah, no, not buying that. Bye. See you later. And then the chapter kind of ends. Overall, it was an okay chapter. I'm a bit conflicted about this chapter because I did find it somewhat funny. It was nice and relaxing, enjoyable, but I couldn't help the fact that I enjoyed the cover more than I enjoyed this chapter. That's not to say this chapter was bad, to say the least. This chapter was good, and if you want a good comedic laugh, then by all means read this chapter. But it's one of those chapters that you could kind of skip over, because it is a transitional chapter. But nevertheless, the comedy in this chapter, I would say was about a 6 out of 10. Art style, flawless throughout. I loved the art style. There is also one scene of Yuiga running that I really did like. I just loved the facial expression on him. The facial expressions of Miss Kirisu was also quite nice throughout. She goes through a few changes. Her pondering face is quite good as well, and like I said, the art style overall was just nice. The whole structure of the story of this chapter, not so much a big fan, but again, it is what it is. So, that's really all I got for this review. It was a nice, tamed, slice of life chapter that you could just read for a bit of a laugh. So, I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, smash that like button. Let me know what you think of this chapter and of the cover of this chapter's, the Azumi cover. Do you like it? Would you change something on it? Or would you like to see a chapter dedicated to Yuiga and Azumi going to this amusement park? Let me know your thoughts down below. Other than that, guys, I hope you'll have an amazing day, and keep it anime. Goodbye.